So we understand that there's one of the four primary mitzvot of the day of Purim. One of them is Matanot La'evyonim. So first and foremost, obviously, this is undoubtedly the most important mitzvah, or arguably one of the most important mitzvah of the three interperson mitzvot that we have on Purim, meaning Matanot La'evyonim, Mishloach Manot, or Seudah. Those are interperson. Matanot La'evyonim definitely takes the precedence, takes the priority, and the halakha explains that one should go out of their way to give their most allocated funds that they are going to spend on Purim to Matanot La'evyonim. Now, that being said, what's the bare minimum, the most basic requirement to fulfill your obligation? So actually, something that not everyone really knows is the most minimum requirement to fulfill your obligation for Matanot La'evyonim is actually a few cents per ani. You have an obligation to give money to 2 aniyim, but the amount, according to Meikar Din from the letter of the law, is even a few pennies. Obviously, this is not the minhag. Obviously, the custom has developed in our community and almost every community around the world that you want to at least give enough for the ani to have a substantial meal. This is the minhag that almost everyone celebrates. That's the bare minimum. And for us, we've coined that amount as $20 per individual to fulfill their mitzvah. So I have to give $20 minimum to fulfill that obligation. Really, we said Meikar Din from the letter of the law, a few pennies per ani. You have to make sure you give it to 2 aniyim. A few pennies per ani would suffice. We said at $10 per ani, which comes out to $20. But we always reemphasize and we reiterate that if someone is spending hundreds of dollars on Mishloach Manot and hundreds of dollars on Seudah, on his Purim Seudah, and only gives $20 for himself and per each family member for Matanot La'evyonim, it's not a beautiful look. Idea is that the Rambam always explains when it comes to Yom Tov that we don't want it to be, God forbid, Simchat Kereso, where you're only caring about yourself, your stomach's simcha. Rather, there's an idea you have to always care about the aniyim, make sure that they have enough food, enough what to eat, make sure that their needs are taken care of. And Purim is the epitome of the holiday where we should go out of our way to give the most towards Matanot La'evyonim. Now, obviously this mitzvah must be done on Purim day, like the other mitzvah as well. You can give the money from now to appoint to a shaliach, to different organizations that we're collecting for, and we guarantee that all money is distributed on Purim day. So that's also an important thing. So you don't have to wait till Purim morning to give the money to the gabai, to then he has to go find aniyim. Just give from now for your entire family. The custom is minimum $20 per individual. We always say give more. If you're going to spend more on other mitzvot of Purim, spend more on this as well. Whoever gives tzedakah, it will never hurt them. He'll never suffer from giving more tzedakah. And on Purim day, the gabayim will ensure and guarantee that all of the money is distributed to the aniyim, to the poor people. Now, last but not least, by Mishloach Manot, there's an emphasis on not being anonymous. That the individual, the giver and the receiver, should both know who sent this gift for me. Why? That's supposed to increase camaraderie and achdut in Am Yisrael. By Matanot La'evyonim, by giving the tzedakah, there is an extra element of Hilchot tzedakah at place that if you want to remain anonymous, Matov Ma'anim, it's a bigger bracha and it's even bigger blessing. So by Mishloach Manot, you have to have your name on the bag. By Matanot La'evyonim, there's no obligation whatsoever. It's even encouraged to be anonymous. That's why you give it to the gabayim, myself, Arad Al-Mani, anyone else, and we guarantee to distribute those funds on Purim day with complete privacy and integrity to the person who's receiving it. And that's how we fulfill the mitzvah in the most perfect and best way. Have a wonderful day.